back here on KUBE 57. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, and on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we thank you for joining us here on Houston Legends. None other than Michael Solar is joining us today. You heard a little bit about his career and what he's been doing here in Houston lately, but let's talk a little bit about his time at Sam Rayburn High School, University of Houston, and some of these other very interesting topics. Michael, we're so proud to have you here, first of all. As mentioned, so happy that you've been engaged with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I know recently we named you with our Chairman's Award for all of your distinguished service, so congratulations, and again, welcome back. I know you've been in Houston a while, but nonetheless, welcome back to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for sure.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about your upbringing, your family, your parents. You know, people see all of the many recognitions and distinctions that you've had through your career, but you started from humble beginnings. Talk to us about your parents. What did they do, and what was that like growing up here?
I was born on the East End. I was born within spitting distance of the waterfront. My father was a seafarer, and together I had 25 aunts and uncles, and 18 on my mother's side. They were sharecroppers out in the Brazos River bottom. My dad's father was a cobbler and lived in Magnolia as well. I was born there. My grandparents had a farm in Pasadena when it was still rural.
Wow.
And because my dad traveled so much, my mother moved out to the farm, and that's where I started. We ultimately had a home and a community there, predominantly Latino. And I went through the school system and was very, very fortunate. I had a pretty good run. Went to Sam Rayburn High School, and then on to the University of Houston.
What was your first job other than the farm, working there with your family? What else? What were some of the other jobs you had? You
know, I had jobs all the time. I sold grit back in the day. I sold seeds. I had a paper route. But my first paycheck kind of job was at a Mexican restaurant. And I washed dishes. And I was real proud to get my printed paycheck at the end of the day.
I bet. What'd you do with your paycheck?
Well, you know, in my family, we bought clothes and we bought school lunches. And from the time that I was 12 years old, we were taking care of ourselves in that regard.
And what order are you in terms of siblings?
I'm first son, third child out of 7.
Okay. And your siblings here in the Houston area?
6 of the 7 are.
Yeah. And very proud, I'm sure you are, of your children. They've gone on to do incredible things. Talk to us a little bit about your role as a father and you know, what your children are doing these days.
Well, I think my family is my opus. I'm very happy to be celebrating my 40th wedding anniversary this year. We've had 4 children, and they went to Jesuit and Dominican schools, so consequently they are men for others and servant leaders. They've been involved in a host of different kinds of community activities. My oldest son works for the Schusterman Foundation in San Francisco. He heads up one of their education groups. I have a banker son. I've got one that's a tech guy for Google, and our daughter does strategy at Yes Prep. So I've got, I guess, 2.5 MBAs and a bank president.
Well, that's not bad at all. And of course, Dr. Patricia has had also a fantastic career. Tell us a little bit about her.
Well, I'll tell you what, I met Patricia. She was my French tutor in college, and I've struggled with French all of my life. And I figured that it was probably less expensive to marry my tutor than it was to continue to pay for them. So, you know, she was attending optometry school at the University of Houston, graduated and, you know, had a successful practices. And ultimately, when our last child left, she decided we needed to go home and let her be with her parents for a while. And they lived in Martinique in the French West Indies. So we packed up our tent and we went over there originally for 2 years, ended up being 6.
Wow, and here you are now back in Houston, and certainly, again, a very distinguished career, Michael. And as you look at all of the things that you've done here, whether it's from your career or professional and the civic associations and different time that you spent giving back to the community, for you, what do you think will be Michael Solar's legacy?
Well, you know, we don't get to write that, but if you ask me what I would like it to be, I would like it to be that I never forgot where I came from, that I want to be part of the greater community. I wanted to be a good example for other citizens here. And I really enjoy child advocacy. That's probably my sweet spot.
Yeah. Well, thank you on behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, our entire community. You make us very proud. You've got a very phenomenal family history. Your children are doing great things. I know they will continue to make you proud, and Patricia as well. So on behalf of our chamber, we thank you for being with us today. We congratulate you for being named one of our Houston Legends.
Thank you for everything that you do and the chamber does for all of us.
We appreciate it. Thank
Thanks.
you. Well, thanks for joining us here once again on the KUBE 57. On behalf of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, we want to thank you for joining us. I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO. We'll see you next time here on the KUBE.